child, worry, worry, worry. We worry about our children today, the lost children of today. Have you ever seen a kid so hurt inside? You want to reach out and grab him. His hurts are so strong. You fear him bearing his burden alone. You wonder what to say to make this child pain go away. If only you could touch him inside his heart. That will lead to understanding. That will heal his hurts and develop his pride. Keep trying. Keep trying. Don't give up. There's always tomorrow. By Elaine. We, Oscar and Elaine, we want the youth of today to identify their agenda for the future and what's holding them back. A, Oscar, you had said too much television is a bad influence. Could you please explain that?
Television is a bad influence on the children of today. One of the reasons why is because the real part of the agenda more or less is not played out. The television on a child is very, very bad.
Do you think it should be monitored? So they would have only a certain amount of time a day to watch TV, like 2 hours a day or something like that. You think that should be monitored?
Well, I think that the parents really, the ones should monitor those kids, yes.
Well, you think somebody should tell the parents?
Yeah, who's going to tell them?
Somebody needs to tell them. We need to get some parent clubs around here. We need to get people, start a club where people can talk to their parents and help them and give them a guide of how to deal with the new generation of today. That was A. Now B is a lack of father in the home. That's something that you mentioned about the lack of a father in a home.
Yeah,
what are you talking
about? The lack of a father in the home is very important because, especially when the male is in the home, he wants to identify with someone or someone who will protect him. Also, if a father's not in the home, too much pressure is put on the mother to try to be a father.
Okay, so you brought up a good point. What percentage of African American children do you think is living without a father in their home? Do you think 60%, 50, 40, 30? What percent do you think that could be?
Oh, I say about 40%.
I don't. I think about 80%. I might be wrong, but that's just terrible. I love our children, but I think it's a little higher than that. Now we have the lack of positive communication in the family. That you brought that up, and many ideas come in my head. I'm thinking about mama and dad running around talking hip and acting cool and stuff like that. What do you think about this communication in the family?
Well, most of our families do not communicate now. Years ago they did communicate. A lot of reasons why families do not communicate is because of the way things are today as far as living is concerned. People go to work in the mornings, 12 o'clock at night, what have you. And before, people used to sit around the table and talk and communicate with each other. But communication is not there anymore. And that's just a problem with the family.
Since you're talking about communication, what about, you said, a lack of spiritual guidance?
Yes, the spiritual guidance means that they should learn more about what's the religion who they are, who their creator is, or they should go to Sunday school, they should go to other parts of the church.
Do you think the parents should make them go to church? Or leave it up to them to go and find a way on their own? Some of these parents do not go to church.
Well,
What do you
trying to make
think?
somebody to go to church is hard to make them go to church unless you're a parent who controls them and they have to go to church because otherwise they can't do it.
Well, look, let me tell you, I taught school for 23 years. I used strategies to get the kids to do things. So I'm thinking of a strategy they could make up within the household to lead the kids in the direction of going to church. So, do you have anything else to say, Mr. Hand?
Oh, about what? I mean, you want that
About the church thing?
Well, I think about the churches. I think the churches should have Black history books in the church. I think they should have a library. We should have Black history books in the church. I talked with a minister the other day, and I asked him, did he have Black history books in his church? And he told me no. And he told me that he would not put any Black history books in his church, although he was a minister in a white neighborhood, Presbyterian minister at that. But anyways, I think that some of the curriculum should be made pertaining to history, because the Bible is history. And I think that we should learn, or children should learn about some of the characters in the Bible who were Black. Ethiopia, for an example, used to be was a great nation, and those are Black people, and they did a lot of things. I think that children should learn about Christ, and also should learn a lot about.
And I agree, they need double help here. They learn that in church, and then their parents help them out a bit. I agree. But right now, I would like to speak about one of our guests. We were supposed to interview Mother Wade, Josephine Wade, with Hard Time Restaurant, but she could not come today because she had an emergency. But I want to discuss a meeting that she had at her restaurant last week. And she had this meeting with Mary Flowers, the state representative. And at the meeting, Mary Flowers was trying to encourage the Chatham community to back her up and file a complaint against the Chicago Public Schools for not complying with a 22-year-old state law that required all public schools to include, all Chicago public schools to include Black history as part of their regular curriculum. Not once a month in a year, 1 year in a month, 1 month in a year, but for the whole. And I want to know how we can start and what we can do to help to get Black history into our public schools.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think that Representative Flowers should get a group together, and she should now announce on the radio and TV, some of the Black stations, what they're going to do about this and how they're going to protest. You need some protesters in there. You need the aldermen, you need the representatives to help you to implement this particular program, to get history of black history in schools. As you know, Miss Elaine, when we go out with the
Black Star, yeah.
we go to these
Once a month.
Once a month, we go to these high schools, and we
Elementary schools.
and elementary schools, and try to teach them black history. The kids and this.
And a lot of times the teacher's not even aware of some of the things. They learn something from us when we go into the classroom for 6th and 7th and 8th grade. We went to Harold Washington School and we went to Holy Angel School to work with the kids. We do it once a month. So now we want to interview Dr. Samala Abulla, and she's Abulla, and she's gonna be coming right this way, and she is dynamite with her comments and things that she has to say. So we're gonna make room for Dr. Abulla to come right on over here. I want to welcome Dr. Abulla. I would like for you to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Samela Abulla. When I was a little girl, I always wanted to help people. And I always said, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to do whatever I can do to help people. I grew up in a small community on the west side of Chicago with most people, working people, who worked limitless and never achieved anything because the economics. So the only profession I knew about was lawyer, because when people are poor, they know who lawyers are and who to go to and who can help them. But after I went away to college, I was introduced to psychology, study of the behavior of people, and I thought, I think I want to do this because I can help them more than just being a lawyer. So that's what I am. I've studied clinical social work and I've studied clinical psychology and counseling psychology. And today I have a practice. I have an office where I see people who want me to see them to talk about their problems. Prior to that, I had to go to school for many, many years and get several degrees.
Tell me the grade school you went to.
Grade school, I went to Medill Elementary School, located on the west side. When I graduated from Medill, the school I should go to was McKinley High School. But my mother didn't think I was going to learn. My mother objected because prior to us graduating from elementary school, she visited all the high schools in the area. And she decided that they weren't teaching at McKinley High School, that the teacher was entertaining the students, but the students weren't learning very much. And she thought that me and the sister right below me should go to a better high school. So the truant officer kept calling my mother in and saying, these kids are not coming to school, and what's going on? And my mother said, well, it's better for them to have no education than to have miseducation. So I'm not letting them go to McKinley. So we went to court, and the judge said, lady, you've got to let these kids go to school. You can't keep them out of school. And she said, well, they shouldn't go to a school where they're not learning anything. They've got the wrong idea. They need to go to a school where they can be taught. And I visited some schools, and I found a school that I like for my children.
Wow.
And it was Marshall High School. It was a far west side. And the judge said, well, no, that's out of your district. So my mother said, well, you decide. And she took us home. Well, finally the truant officer said, we've got to go back to court. The judge wants to see you. And the judge gave us permissive transfer. That's what they were called at that time. And I went to Marshall High School. I had to get up early in the morning, of course, ride the streetcar, because it was a long time ago. And it was freezing in the winter, as we know now how cold